be not just that kind of fill in the blank stuff. There will probably be some multiple choice, possibly some true false. No essay. Just it's going to be pretty much all objective / factual. Okay. We're picking up on 1468-69. Where we left off, the messenger has told them, the messenger from Corinth has told them, Polybus is dead. All right? Oedipus, how? What killed him? Old age. Okay? And so Oedipus then turns to Jocasta and says, 1054 or so. So Jocasta, why look to the prophet's heart, the fires of the future? That is, why do we pay any attention to prophets? Why scan the birds that scream above our heads? Part of the practice of prophecy was looking at the movements of birds. It wasn't only catching a bird, cutting it open, and seeing how its guts spill out, because that was another way, how the guts lay on the ground when you slit it open and do this, was one thing. He says they, the birds, but not literally the birds, but how the prophets interpreted the birds, winged me on to the murder of my father. Did they? That was the prophecy. He would kill his father. That was my doom? Well, look. He's dead and buried, hidden under the earth, and here I am in Thebes. I never touched him, etc. She goes, told you. Didn't I tell you? No more. Sweep it from your mind forever. He goes, yeah, but, my mother's bed. Surely I must fear. Okay. Why? My mother's bed, surely I must fear. I really don't want to do it. Okay, killing dad's one thing, but I really don't want to sleep with my mother. Fear? Jocasta says, 1069 and following. What should a man fear? It's all chance. Chance rules our lives. What does she mean? If it's chance, then what cannot be true? Really, ever? Prophecies. Prophecies operate under the assumption that our future is already what? It's already set in stone. It's already based on what idea? This idea. That there is a thing called fate. The gods can see fate. The gods can tell us what our fate is through prophecy. But we can't do what? We can't change that. Okay? There's another idea, more prominent in the 20th century, because fate kind of fell out of, the idea of fate kind of fell out of favor, because there's kind of a religious component to it. There's another idea, 20th century, and the idea is determinism. This idea essentially argued that everything that happens not for a reason, but because it was determined from the very beginning of the universe. So go back 14.4 billion years to the Big Bang. When that Big Bang occurred, boom, it caused a series of events to occur. And those events cause other events. The classic example that's used of it is pool balls on a pool table, or billiard balls on a pool table. And the Big Bang was like having the balls racked, and you get your pool cue, and you hit the white ball, okay, and that you can determine where those balls will go depending upon how you hit the racked set of balls. Okay? So this essentially suggested, and there weren't many believers in this, but there were some. When I say many, I don't mean like 5 or 10. I mean thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions possibly. It literally included everything we do today has already been determined. So just now, when he picked up his bottle, that wasn't an act of free choice. And when you twitch your foot, when you turn the page, when you take a note, there's no free will by none of us. So if there's no free will, can we be held responsible by anybody for anything we do? Nope. Because if Treasure comes in tomorrow with a gun and turns around and shoots Danielle because she looked at him funny, that's life, because that was all determined. Her looking at him funny was determined. Okay? Notice what Yocosta is saying. Nonsense. That's nonsense. It's all chance. Random chance. Chance rules our lives. We like to think, no, there's an order to our lives, right? Because every one of us got up this morning, got dressed, came to work/class, etc. That's part of the order. Why did you do that? Because you did it yesterday, and you did it the day before that. And we are assuming, not tomorrow, tomorrow's Saturday, but Monday, you'll get up and do the same thing all over again, right? Here's the random aspect. Here's the chance aspect. None of us know what's going to happen tomorrow or 5 minutes from now. We could all suddenly get wiped out. There could be a horrific gas explosion in Peck Hall. I don't think there's any gas in this building, but assume there were. And we're all dead. Okay? That would be a chance random occurrence. So she says, chance rules our life. Screw the gods. Not a man on earth can see a day ahead groping through the dark. True or false? That's true. None of us can see tomorrow. Notice it's groping ahead. How does she mean groping? Like a blind man. Feeling. Why? Because you can't see it. We think we know what's going to happen, but we're not 100% sure. Better to live at random best we can. In other words, better to enjoy life today. That's it. Because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And that's why I've got this written up here. Latin phrase, carpe diem, means seize the day. Won't show up on this exam, but it will show up on a later exam. Because it's going to be the dominant idea in a couple of poems we're going to do. So, better to live at random best we can. And for the marriage with your mother, don't worry about that either. Why? Many a man before you in his dreams has shared his mother's bed. And from that one line, Sigmund Freud built an entire psychological complex, an entire industry. Okay? Because you still have psychologists telling people today, well, your problems ultimately go back to men. You want to sleep with your mother. It's a subconscious desire. Women, he built a complex out of an idea from another Greek play called Electra, where the woman in the play wants to, or did, I can't remember, it's been so long since I've read it, sleep with her father. So you have an Oedipus complex and an Electra complex, where women secretly, deep down, subconsciously, want to sleep with their fathers. Oedipus complex, men secretly, deep down, subconsciously, want to sleep with their mothers. It's fiction, folks. This isn't, Yocosta giving us this deep, dark intuition into humanity. Because she does turn out to be entirely wrong. So, take such things for shadows, nothing at all. Live, Oedipus, as if there's no tomorrow. Live. Okay? Oedipus, brave words, And you'd persuade me if mother weren't alive. That is, at least now, we're ready to go. Polybus is dead. I don't have to worry about that. I didn't kill him, so that part of the prophecy can't be true. He's implying, this part can though. She says, but your father's death. Her implication is, but if this part of the prophecy is wrong, what does that do for the whole prophecy? It's all wrong. If you have a true-false question on the exam, if one part of it is false, it's all false. A statement can't be 99% true. It's either all or nothing. It's like being pregnant. You are or you aren't, Or dead. You are or you're not mostly dead. You're either dead or you're not dead. Okay? He says, yeah, but she's still alive. The messenger. What? Who's that you're talking about? Merope, wife of Polybus. Well, what do you fear in her? Well, a prophecy. Well, what prophecy? Can you tell it? Sure. Apollo told me, 1091, excuse me. 1091. I must make love with my own mother, shed my father's blood with my own hands. That's why I left Corinth. Messenger. That's what you're afraid of? Uh-huh. That's it. You're yes. Well, what if I told you something that could rid you of that fear? He says, you'd get a rich reward. Okay. And you'd come home? Because what are they looking for in Corinth now? They need a king. So you'd come home, right? He goes, well, never will I go near my parents. Merope's still there. Nope, sorry, he can't go back to Corinth. He goes, well, hold on there. Go. So you ran away from them, always dodging home. Yeah, I was afraid of Apollo's prophecy. And you'd be covered with guilt from both your parents. He goes, yeah, I'm afraid of that. Don't you know? You have nothing to fear. Merope, Polybus. Polybus was nothing to you. Not in blood. What do you mean? Polybus was not my father, no more than I am. He and I are equals. What does he mean, he and I are equals? Polybus and I are equals in that I'm a king and he was a king? No. We're equals in that he was no more your father than I am. Because look at Oedipus's comments. How can my father equal nothing? You are nothing to me. And he means that both you're of no relation to me, but he also means you're a low-life scum messenger. I'm the king. Messenger. Yeah, well, neither was he. That is, you're not my father, neither was he. No more your father than why to call me his son. You were a gift. You were adopted. In fact, I gave you to him. Oedipus. From another's hands? That is, or was I your child? Well, how could he love me? I mean, he loved me deeply. Well, yeah. His early years without a child made him love you all the more. Can an adoptive parent not love an adopted child like his or her own biological child? No, I've known quite a few adoptive parents, and they love that child or those children like they're their own. I used to teach when I lived in Orlando. I taught at a private Christian school, and one of the kids there was the son of the general manager of the Orlando Magic. And they had like 17 adopted kids. Because, I mean, they were richer than snot. I mean, and they could afford all of them. And they were all well loved. So, and where'd you get me from? Did you buy me? Was it an accident? You were just walking down the street one day and there's this kid crying? He says, no, I got you on the sides of Mount Kithaeron. Where have we heard that before? The chorus has talked about that mountain. And Jocasta talked about that mountain. What did she say about it? That's where they had their baby cast aside. So close? That is, well, that's right outside the city limits. What were you doing there? Shepherd on the fields. Herdsman. Vagabond scraping for wages. That is low-life scum. He goes, your Savior too. Thank you very much. Oh, when you picked me up, was I in pain? Take a look at your ankles. What's Oedipus's name mean? Swollen foot or club foot. When he says, take a look at your ankles, Oedipus says, why remind me of that? Because imagine this is a nail. Oedipus had a nail driven through his ankles together when he was 3 days old. They did that, and then the idea was, put him on the mountain. Why put his ankles together? To keep him from moving at all. Okay, first of all, a 3-day-old baby isn't going to crawl. Why else? It speeds up the death a little bit. Not that quick. And this isn't, by the way, unique to the play Oedipus. I mean, this was an actual way of getting rid of unwanted children, we believe, in ancient Greek society. Okay? So, Oedipus says, well, who did it? Mother, father? I don't know. The one who gave you to me, he would know. Well, you didn't find me, but no, there was another shepherd. Well, who was he? Describe him. Let's see. He was a servant of somebody. What's that guy's name? Larry? No. Leonard? Laius. That was it. Laius. Jocasta turns sharply. Why? Because we've already been told when Oedipus was 3 days old, they gave Oedipus to a servant of Laius to be discarded on the mountain. What, you mean the same king? Yeah, that's him. Is he still? Yeah, that's these people here. Who's the people? Jocasta, the chorus, the leader. Ask them. They should know if he's still alive. Anyone know? Leader. I think he's the guy you sent for already. Jocasta, you remember the man we just sent for? Is that the one he means? Why ask old shepherd? Talk. Empty nonsense. Don't give it another thought. Why not? What has already happened in Jocasta's mind? Think Aristotle. Recognition. She's not the protagonist, okay? But she experiences that recognition. She knows exactly who Oedipus is now. That's why she's saying, don't think about that old shepherd. Let's change the subject. My, the trees are pretty today. Oedipus. What? Give up now? With a clue like this? A clue? It sounds like what he is trying to solve now is a puzzle or a riddle. And what do we know already about Oedipus? He's a riddle master. Okay? Can he stop trying to solve this? No, not for all the world. Stop, she says. In the name of God, if you love your own life, call off this search. My suffering is enough. What does she mean by that? My suffering is enough. Well, the suffering she has right now with the knowledge she has. Because if they were to, let's assume for a moment, do a thought experiment. If she were to stop right now, what would happen? Would Oedipus know about his past? Nope. Would anything change in the city from here going forward? Nope. Would anything change in his relationship with Jocasta? No. She wouldn't be able to tell him. So that means she would go on, sharing his bed, living with him, knowing that's her son. My suffering is enough. I've got enough suffering right now. I think it also means, however, my suffering will be enough for both of us. Okay? But Oedipus, courage, suck it up. Even if my mother turns out to be a slave, what's his fear? Mom was a lowlife, a slave of Laius's household. She goes, no, listen to me, I beg you, don't do this. I must know it all. What's the verb? See the truth at last. What did Tiresias say he would do? You will bring to light a brood of children and such. He says, being blind, you will see. Now you see, but you're blind. Okay? For your sake, I want the best for you. Well, what is the best for him? According to Yocasta. Forget about it. To not know. Okay? What else does that sound like, however? I want the best for you. Like a mother to a child? He says no. He says, your best is more than I can bear. You're doomed. May you never fathom who you are. Okay? Bring in the herdsman, Oedipus says, and Yocasta. Man of agony, that is the only name I have for you. That, no other, ever. She runs out. She runs out into the palace, screaming. The doors close, and she's suddenly silent. Leader, where's she gone to? I'm afraid that from this silence, something monstrous may come bursting forth. Let it burst, whatever will, whatever must. I must know my birth, no matter how common, etc. He says maybe she's, afraid that it will lessen her pride and such. Okay? Chorus comes in. If I am a true prophet, if I can grasp the truth by the boundless skies of Olympus, you will know how Oedipus glories in you, Mount Kithron, etc., etc. You see a figure come from the side of the stage. Oedipus asks the leader, is that the messenger? That is the old shepherd? He says, that's one of Elias's men. Yep. So he turns to the messenger from Corinth. Is that the man? That's him. You, come here. The old man comes over. You used to work for Elias. Yep. Herd flocks. Where? Kithron. You seen this man before? And he points to the messenger from Corinth. And the messenger from Corinth isn't necessarily standing right next to him. He might be a few feet away. And bear in mind, the shepherd is old. Doesn't have glasses. He goes, what man? This one here. Not so I could say. Well, and so the messenger from Corinth says, well, let me help refresh his memory. Remember when we used to tend our, flocks on the side of? He goes, yeah, I remember. And you remember the child you gave me back then? Little fellow? Why bring up that bad memory? Well, here he is. That is, that little child. Damn you, shut your mouth. Don't talk like that to him. He says, what have I done? You want to answer his questions? Well, he's talking nonsense. So you won't talk willingly. Okay, I'll torture you. Why? What more do you need to know? 1271. Did you give him that child? I did. Isn't that enough right there? Because Oedipus already knows what that child is, right? It's him. But he wants to hear that specifically. Okay? I wish to God I'd die that day. He says, you've got your wish if you don't keep talking. The more I tell, the worse the death I'll die. So, Oedipus says, where did you get the child? Because notice the child that was given to the messenger, the guy from Corinth, Oedipus thinks, well, maybe it was the shepherd's child. Maybe it was Elias's. He says, where'd you get it? Your house? No, not mine. Someone. Who? He looks at the citizens. One of them? No. Elias. Slave? were born of his own blood. Every question Oedipus asks is designed to do what? Narrow the possibilities. I gotta say it. His own. His son. But your wife, she could tell. My wife, she gave, yes. What? For what reason? To kill it. Why? Frightening prophecies. They said he'd kill his parents, but you gave him to this woman. Why? You were supposed to kill it. I pitied the little baby master. Hoped he'd take him off to his own country, far away, but he saved him for this fate. If you are the man he says you are, believe me, you were born for pain. Born. Intended. Oh God, all come true, all burst to light. What did the leader say? That the silence inside caused him to think something monstrous would be born to light? And Oedipus goes, let it be born. Well, there it is. O light, now let me look my last on you. I stand revealed at last. Cursed in my birth, by the prophecy. Cursed in marriage, by the prophecy. Cursed in the lives I cut down with these hands. In other words, I tried to make an end run around fate and caused it to happen. And he rushes through the doors. And the chorus, keep in mind, what's the purpose of the chorus? It's to comment upon / interpret the previous speeches. And the chorus says, "O the generations of men, the dying generations, adding the total of all your lives, I find they come to nothing." All the lives of men added up mean zilch. Of all your lives, I find they come to nothing. Does there exist? Is there a man on earth who seizes more joy than just a dream, a vision? Who seizes a joy that is more than what? A dream. Midsummer Night's Dream says what about dreams? They're insubstantial. They don't last. They're here, they're gone. What has he just said? Is there anyone alive who has joy that isn't temporary? No. And the vision, the dream, no sooner dawns than dies, blazing into oblivion. Oedipus, you're my example. You, your life, your destiny. Oedipus, man of misery, I count no man blessed. It's almost like that Sophocles going, hello folks, here's the theme, here's the meaning of the tale. Life means nothing. Life's a bitch, and then you die. Period. Okay? So, messenger comes in from the palace and says, what horrors has come to Thebes? Leader, really? What more? What can you add to what's already happened? The queen's dead. Soon as she rushed in, she hung herself. Okay? And that's not all. Oedipus then ran in, and what did he do? He pulled the 2 brooches off of her gown, stuck the pins up, and gouged his eyes out. Oh, poor man, the chorus, the leader says, 14:22 or so. Has he any rest from pain? No. And we hear shouting in the palace. Messenger. Nope, not really. Oedipus comes out, led by a boy. And the chorus says, oh, the terror, the suffering for all the world to see, the worst terror that ever met my eyes. What madness swept. Why would you do such a thing? Why would you gouge your eyes out? He says, agony, I am agony, where am I going, where on earth, etc., etc. My destiny, my dark power, what a leap you made. Chorus, yeah, to the depths of terror. Okay? So now, notice, all of Oedipus' speeches, they're about darkness. They're about blindness. Why? Because what did Tiresias say? You who see now will walk in blindness and darkness later on, and then you will see. He hears the chorus. He says, dear friend, still here, standing by, such compassion, loyal to the last. What have you done? Apollo, friends, he ordained my agonies. What does he mean by ordained? To ordain something means to make it happen. Apollo made this happen. Not true. Apollo merely did what? This is what will happen. Apollo merely said, this is what's going to happen. Apollo wasn't the one moving all the chess pieces on the board, so to speak. That's fate. Okay? He says, but I did this. I struck my eyes out. Okay? Why? What can I ever see? What love, what call of the heart, line 1475 and following, can touch my ears with joy? Nothing, friends. Take me out of Thebes. Why does he want to be taken out of Thebes? He's going to say it repeatedly. A couple of reasons. When Creon first came back from Apollo at the beginning of the play, what did he say? The plague of Thebes is because the killer of Laius is in Thebes. Banish that man. I've got to leave Thebes so that Thebes can live. Okay? So, curse him, kill him, Oedipus says. Who's he talking about? Line 1488. The damn shepherd. Curse him, kill him. Why? If I'd died then, as a 3-year-old baby on the side of the mountain, I'd never have dragged myself, my loved ones, through such hell. Okay? Oedipus is the protagonist of the play. Why? Protagonist comes from proto-agonist. Protos means first, or chief, or primary. Agonist, sufferer. In tragedy, the chief sufferer, okay, is the one that we learn through. And we're going to hear a little bit of this in a moment. So he's the one who endures the most. And bear in mind, when we were talking about tragedy at the beginning, what your book said, the tragic hero is someone who endures great pain. The key word is endures. Goes on. Doesn't kill him or herself. Okay? Might die, like in Shakespeare's tragedies. Okay? But in Greek tragedies, the tragic hero lives on, okay, to experience the repercussions, let's say. So, he says, I've got to leave Thebes, etc. 1480, he talks about the mountain. Why did you give me shelter? He talks about Polybus in Corinth. He talks about the triple roads where he killed Laius. He talks about marriage. What's he doing? He's kind of going back to the key moments of his life and how, at key moments, he fulfills the prophecy. So Creon comes in. And the leader says, put your request to Creon. Here he is, just when we need him. Why? Kind of implying Creon's going to be the master or the king of Thebes. Is Creon next in line? Not necessarily. Oedipus is going to mention on the bottom of the next page, he's got adult sons. One of those adult sons will become the next king. And in fact, we don't learn about it in this play, but we learn about it in Antigone, which was written and produced before this play, but chronologically, say from the birth of Oedipus to the death of Oedipus, it comes second. Okay? We find out one of the sons attacks Thebes because he wants to be king. And they end up killing each other. Then Creon becomes king because there's no more sons. Right? So, Oedipus, what can I say to Creon? Because what did he last say to Creon? You conspired with Tiresias. You want the crown. Creon comes in. I haven't come to mock you, Oedipus, or to criticize your former failings. And he turns to the guards and goes, what are you doing? He should be inside. He shouldn't be out here where people can see him. Oedipus, please, in God's name, 1568, wipe my tears away, fears away. Do one more thing. Still giving orders? Still so insistent? What? What is it? Drive me out of the land, far from sight. Creon essentially says no. Why? I'm not going to listen to you, Oedipus. Pretty good reason. Oedipus has been wrong an awful lot. What does Creon say he needs to hear? 1575. First, I wanted the god to clarify my duties. The god. His command was clear. Yeah, well, I'm double checking. I want to make sure. Why? I don't want to anger the gods. Okay? So, this time, you will obey the god's decrees. Because what did the god decree here? You are fated to kill your father. So what should Oedipus have done, according to Creon's logic? Okay. And if he had said, okay, living here and not running away, what would have happened? He never would have done what the oracle prophesied. But by trying to not do what the oracle prophesied, he caused it to happen. So, he asks Creon, take care of my children. My 2 sons you don't need to worry about, but my daughters, don't let them be beggars. They're royal family, they're related to you. He says, don't worry, I'll take care of them. His 2 daughters come out, he hugs them, he blesses them. He says, I'll never see you again. And then he turns to Creon and says, you're the only father they have now, page 1483, about, 1647 or so. Don't let them go begging, etc. Okay. And he offers a prayer. Now as it is, I'd have you say a prayer. Pray for life, my children. Live where you are free to grow into season. Pray, God, you find a better life than mine. Creon, enough. You've wept enough. The people have seen too much. Go in the... Time is the great healer. And I think what Creon is suggesting there is Oedipus is going to live what? A long life. And according to the plays at least, he does. He has to tap with a stick out his life a long time after this. And in that third play, I didn't mention this in my first class, in that third play, Oedipus at Colonus, because he has suffered so greatly, the gods raise him up to a god. They make him into a god. Not because they understand suffering, but because he's endured more than any person has ever endured before. So, Oedipus says, please don't take my daughters away. Creon, bottom of 1483. Still the king, the master of all things. In other words, Oedipus, you got to get used to a new way of life, buddy. You're nothing. So, at the end of the play, what does Oedipus lose? Everything. Define everything. List some of the things that are every. Family, specifically. His wife, because she kills herself, and mother. What else? His children. Okay. What else does he lose? His kingdom, because he's no longer king. What else does he lose? His sight. Power. Okay. Everything. but that everything's got to be broken down so that you really see. At the beginning of the play, he has everything. Why is this important? Because the tragic hero is someone we look up to. Okay? We want to be like. In fact, look at the chorus's final lines. People of Thebes, my countrymen, look on Oedipus. And what the chorus means there is, Oedipus, stop right there. It's almost like the chorus wants Oedipus to stop at the entrance to the palace and turn around and kind of go, look at him. Why? He solved the famous riddle with his brilliance. He rose to power, a man beyond all power. Now, a man beyond all power might be referring to right now. He has nothing. But when he solved the riddle of the Sphinx and rose to power, nothing could touch him. Who could behold his greatness without envy? That's the, look at him. So what's an analog for Oedipus today at the height of his power? Pick the person you, if you do, idolize, revere, want to be like, emulate. You know, in our society, we would tend to say it's either some captain of industry or some major, Hollywood celebrity. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, Stephen Jobs, somebody like that. Or some, politician who's clear as the wind-driven snow, or some celebrity who hasn't been trashed, etc. At the height of their game, who wouldn't look at that person with envy? Envy, wanting to be like that person. Now, what a black sea of terror has overwhelmed him. Why does Sophocles say that? What's he really saying? Be careful what you wish for. Was Oedipus always top of his game? No. No. When he was here, he was nothing, essentially. But he rose to power and then fell. Part of what Sophocles is saying is, maybe you should just be happy with where you are in life. Now what a black sea of terror has overwhelmed him. Now, as we keep our watch and wait the final day. What's the final day? Death. Keep our watch. See, experience our day-by-day existence. Now, count no man happy till he dies. Period? Free of pain at last. Don't count anybody happy until they're free of pain. When are you free of pain? When you take your last breath. Not a very cheery outlook on life, is it? That's the Greek outlook on life. That is the ancient Greek outlook on life. Okay? Pretty pessimistic, because these folks treat us like what? If you accept the Greek mentality, the ancient Greek mentality. They're kind of like in the one Transformers movie. And you see Megatron and he's fighting the other Transformers or whatever. And there's a human and he goes, that's what we are to the gods. We're just playthings. Okay? All right, we'll stop there. So you've got your quizzes. Use those to help study. Some of the questions will come straight from the quizzes. All the classes are